Surrounding nature of reality.
Yeah. Paul said something about, any way you can kind of get a glimpse or a leg up on this. It was almost, you got the sense you were like, you're trying to climb a totally smooth rock face. And you have no idea how you're going to get like a foothold or a handhold, and just any way you can get a little bit of a handhold. Or maybe it was Peter that said that, and then, it grows. They all get, or maybe it was Jeff. Who the hell was it?
Could have been you.
I don't know.
That's
Making
why
this up right
I'm
now.
not really sure.
Like, give me a
Said
friggin'
odd,
foothold.
or if you said it, or
Yeah, it all blurs. It does blur. They heard it in a whole nother life.
Like, hey, am I those people, or are they me? I don't know.
Who knows who's who? Oh my God, you're gonna kill me with these, Suzanne. They're good.
Did it officially
Put a
start?
shitload now. Stop.
Not yet, just about.
Dark chocolate though.
Did it officially start?
Really?
Not yet.
For me,
About to-
it's not
just about to
hard to done
officially
anything.
start.
Oh, really?
If it's sweet, I got it.
So it kind of,
Well, really dark, like 85%.
Oh, yeah,
One
that's
piece and
dark.
I'm good. But
Yeah.
this is like,
I get it.
Call me today
I
and
so
hang
get it.
Did I so have a moment of, I miss it, Jeff. There's no fun anymore.
Is that why you call me? I'm always the leftover. Like, well, I can't get a hold of anyone else. I'm calling you.
Thank you for your kind affection.
Ah. I used to shake loose.
You look like you're going skiing in the 80s. It's
I
I
got
was
a
in
wild
my
head.
pajamas and cleaning and stuff, and it's like, well, let's throw on.
I love it.
Right.
She's a cool mama.
Jaden slept in this last night, so I slept her. Yeah.
I saw some gas on the way here at 258.
Oh my goodness,
Oh, good.
that's cheap gas.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like right on the Horsham Road and
Really?
yeah.
Satan got fuzzy socks.
Oh, very cool. It's like Fozzie.
You're looking nice. You should turn them inside out for even more.
Yeah, they're
Get all that
fuzzy on
fuzz
the
on
inside too.
Oh,
So to get a light bulb, to get any sense that I, a little me with a life and a story and a, worries, or a story that I don't have any worries right now, I'm doing good. How do you get that hit of, oh shit, it's not even real? Like, how do you get that?
is it necessary to get that?
Well, listening to Paul, it's like that act of selfing. He was sort of looking at how do you get behind
The lens.
kind of behind the lens, behind that sort of really firm grip on someone,
On not believing.
on the lie that I'm someone.
Yeah, on the not believing, really.
Yeah,
Not accepting, yeah.
yeah.
Not falling for all this bullshit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been working on a
That'll
little
get
bit
it
like
today.
getting distance from my thoughts, like not letting them get the better of me, kind of just watching them like, oh yeah, you're bitching about this again, and not like grabbing on and running with them. Kind of helpful, but there's still an I there that's hoping to benefit by not latching onto my thoughts.
Right?
You know, I was thinking today, and this is just the standard theme, just like what you're saying is really. But it's kind of related, because I'm thinking like, what's the real difference? And there is one, but I don't know how to verbalize it. Between lacking is a horrible word, between not having to endure self-chatter or apparition, what have you,
Mhm.
and just being totally caught up in the story.
What's
You
the
know,
difference?
So, watching a good movie or something like that, where you're like,
Mm.
my mouth open, looking, what's the real difference?
Seems
Yeah,
like
in
we
both
seekers
cases-
think we're going to get something if we can just not be caught up in it.
we're gonna get something? What's that?
The first state that you talked about,
Yeah.
where you're not caught up in it.
Yeah.
It seems like if you're a seeker, that, like, you're convinced that would give you something, if you're not caught up in it. And you're asking what the difference between just not believe in yourself, not believe in the story, or just completely caught up in it. What is the difference?
Oh, well, no, I'm not caught up in your story. In other words, in both cases, I see relief of my personal story. In the one case, it's just a relief of the personal story. In the other case, it's sort of a substitution of some external story that you get caught up in. You know?
Distraction, kind of.
Yeah, but in both cases, the personal story is gone. So in other words, it's not just the lack of the personal story, right? You know, it's something more than that. I mean, don't you think? Because in one case, it's another story. So it's like.
Oh, wait, you're equating the watching the movie with what? I missed the piece.
Same as being caught up in your thoughts and drama of a story and a person.
your life.
Well,
No,
no, not
because if
exactly.
you're watching a movie, you're not caught up.
You're not caught up.
You're out of it.
Am I
You shut it off if you're
Am I
pulled out
making
of
it
it.
too? I
So
mean,
that piece I got, but I
It's
didn't know
overly
what it was
confusing.
like.
well, all that I'm saying is, when people talk about
Like a
realization
straight for rogue.
and getting beyond personal stuff that's going on, the constant referential bullshit that, you know, seems like we're inclined to endure, you know. But when that goes away, there's this, if you will.
Empty nest
openness.
syndrome.
God damn it! That was
Sure,
cheese.
the house sure is quiet.
Yeah.
That was too easy.
No more troubled teenager here.
So in that case, the personal self, you could say, is gone. And in the other case, you're watching a movie. The personal self is gone. But
Right,
there's some other thing going on instead.
yeah.
So that seems to sort of just take over in the personal self, you know?
That's why there's free cell.
I've done free cell.
That's a good one too.
Which-
Spider solitaire.
Oh,
Yeah.
Four suits.
Yeah, four suits. I love four suits.
Oh, there's no other way.
No other way. Once you go four suits, you can't go back.
Once you've gone four suits, where you think you're going?
Down that road, maybe I just had to verbalize it to sort of explain it to myself.
Did we help? I hope.
It just allowing me to verbalize
I
it.
kind of like the thought of the analogy of I'm watching my life and all this and I'm all wrapped up in it is no more significant than when you go watch a movie and you're all wrapped up in it
Yeah.
and you lose everything else but that. It's the same thing.
But it's so novel that, you know, you.
Well, the movie
see it
feels
possible.
novel. The day-to-day life crap feels, you know, just boring as dog shit. But
That's why we envy the enlightened, because they appear to be enjoying novelty.
yeah.
And movie stars.
Yeah, and if you get an enlightened movie star,
Celebrities. They're
holy
all
cow!
Celebrities, it's all the same shit.
Yeah.
Huh. Could be.
The enlightened are celebrities? What,
It's just very few.
Yeah. What else? What else are they? What do you-
Yeah.
I guess they're the rock stars of enlightenment. They're the
And just to kind of
icons of.
integrate and sort of flip it a little bit, and you guys have probably been through all this, so you don't have to spend a lot of time in it. But speaking of enlightening celebrities, I listened to a YouTube interview. Oprah was interviewing Eckhart Tolle, and then there's
It's a lot of humility in that room.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, why don't you like Eckhart Tolle?
Don't get me started.
Does
He looks like E.T.
No, he's not
Well,
important.
yeah, he's a little funny.
I
Actually,
think
that's the
this-
only reason we like him.
I seem
That's
to
cute.
remember a
It's
leprechaun
Just
bastard
for the
quote.
bill.
I've always liked
Leprechaun
it,
bastard reference.
but I don't like all the stuff that goes on around them. I mean, I get Zachary toy TV stuff all the time. It's all the salesmanship that seems to go on.
Well, that was my
So-
assumption, but I wasn't sure.
But
Well,
to
he's,
me, he really turned me on when he
he's
first came on the scene.
he's a sidebar, really, you know.
Would you like to talk about that?
But he's kind of
Is it that you have a thing for ET, or was it really?
I like this.
Did ET also turn you on? Because that would,
kind of.
yeah.
Love ET. My son is 32 years old and I still have his little ET sweatshirt from when he was like 3.
All right. Well, we have a bunch of ET files or something in the room. I don't know what you call
He
it.
was so cute.
ET.
ET from home. I used to play the Atari ET video game where he used to have to go collect Reese's Pieces.
I think I might have been tapping into Sharon's very real obsession with ET that I did not know about until now. It's clear.
I think of him every time I eat Reese's Pieces.
Oh, that's good. I thought you were. It's like, is he banging above your bed or?
All right,
Sorry,
straighten up. There's a question on the table.
this was
Yes,
serious.
so-
What's the issue-
aside
issue
from
with
that,
Eckhart?
You know, obvious stuff and the things that go around the
Really, that
salesmanship
was
and
we're
all.
working through some serious stuff.
The brief interview I listened today, it was like, yeah, okay, I mean, it was, you know, commonsensical at a particular level, like what's the,
What's the problem?
yeah.
He's fine. The more interesting thing to look at is one's interest and delight in novelty, or in valuing, let's say, an enlightened person, were there any, envying them or being curious about their experience. And one of the things you could say punctuates, right, the appearance of a so-called enlightened person, were there any, is novelty, right? And we are, you know, somewhat bereft of novelty. We easily get caught up in our own consciousness and content and the waveforms of the universe that we imagine we live in as a, you know, constituent, as a being. And we don't often touch it or feel it, but that certain kind of grief or sorrow is always present in us, not as a not as a bad thing, but true as a poignancy.
Who didn't cry when they heard the little guy go, "E.T. phone home"? We all got it.
Yeah.
At some level, we all got it.
Yeah. That novelty that we might envy in another or be on the lookout for ourselves is curiously what this already is.
Sorry.
We are observing, feeling, living in absolute novelty.
So it's a deferral then of putting one's, you know, giving oneself over to the enlightenment celebrity du jour sort of
Well, it's both.
defers.
Both.
Experience.
It's for seekers, right? It's a celebrity event, right? Just like how many people were hanging outside of Dave Letterman's theater when Angelina Jolie was on the scene.
Yeah.
You know, it was absolute mayhem of paparazzi and whatever. People don't tend to do that around Adyashanti. They do it around the Beatles. You know,
Well, among certain circles, maybe.
when you see people line up to receive Amachi coming out of her van into a hall. That's like a red carpet event. Yeah.
So is it the enlightened person, is it worse than the rock star? The movie star?
Well, the enlightened
Know better.
the enlightened person, of course, is somewhat of a myth. And if we do,
Wouldn't the rock star be a myth? Wouldn't Angelina Jolie be a myth?
well, yes. Well, of course. I mean, all the excitement that's created in oneself or a group of people in the presence of a human being that has rock star, right, capacity, is, I mean, it's a phenomenon, right? Or let's say you went to see the Pope and you could get close. I don't know about this current Pope, whether anyone feels a certain affinity for him, or Ratzinger certainly didn't attract anyone's, affinity or affection,
Sure, there were those.
right? But prior to Ratzinger,
Mediocre popes
what was
don't
that Pope?
really fit.
Who was the Polish Pope before
Oh, John,
Ratzinger?
Oh, yeah.
Have they canonized him yet? They're
John
working
Paul
on
the
it.
Second, or
Yeah,
what was his name?
yeah. So, I mean, a number of people had a profound, spiritual experience in his company, even if he was just waving like the royals do from the Pope Mobile.
Kind of like that Wag the Dog movie where they just kind of invent a story and
Yeah.
create a war.
Well, all of this is that, right? I mean, look at the nature of your familiar persona, right? What makes you you, the way you glide through a day as you. I mean, aren't you Wag the Dog? Yeah.
Well, it does seem though, that even though it is like deferring your own experience by putting somebody else's experience kind of higher than your own.
Well, there's that. But look how we do that internally.
Yeah.
We do that internally by paying, you might say, undue attention to ourselves, to our own thought stream. We fetishize ourselves. We create, celebrities of ourselves by orienting to presence through the filter of,
Sure.
right, familiarity.
Yeah, we're either celebrities or we're terrible people.
We can
All
go-
in the span of an hour, maybe. who
Yeah,
knows?
well, yeah, or quicker.
or more quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And yet those people do evoke something, maybe, compared to the mediocre Pope like Ratzinger, like nobody cared about that guy.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Well, yes, I mean, rock star ability,
rock star ability.
whether it's on the stage or at the Pope Mobile or being interviewed by Oprah or leading a retreat, is so. It's real.
Or even in a regular office area or regular circles of people that you come across, some people are just more charismatic than others.
There's plenty of those kinds of folks right here at our own lovely Pebble Hill. Naturally charismatic individuals. Some seek for attention and some just naturally draw
That's it.
attention. I was watching a Lou Reed concert from, let's say, 1984.
Mhm.
And he was just dripping with rock star ability.
Mm.
And this was a 2-hour-long concert. I mean, he went through
Yeah.
a song list, right, this long, and just kicked the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And you were like, he's a god. He's like a rock god. And yeah, it was true. He just could do it. And, you know, his vocals were not
So are you
harmonious.
declaring your own rock star godness by, hero worship of Lou Reed, or?
No, I think that if you are enjoying the celebration of a worthy recipient of your affection, you're having a good time.
Yeah.
Well, the same would be true of Eckhart Tolle then, right?
No question about it.
Yeah, he's a.
Yeah, you're having a good time. We think that we're experiencing name and form, which is external to us. That's how we construct the universe that we drive around in, that we shower in, that we see clients in, that we hide from, that we attention seek in, that we do what we do. We think we're living in an externally relevant, three-dimensional environment, and that we're experiencing objects and subjects external to ourselves that evoke, right?
Yeah.
Qualities in ourselves through which we relate, mostly by paying little attention, right? Mostly we wander through three-dimensional space. Were there any? Kind of in the comfort zone or discomfort zone of our own mind, picking out things from the grocery shelves that we want to take home. But we really don't notice all that much. We do this with each other, with our partners, with Free Cell. We do it with celebrities. Our consciousness is quite the slut. It'll just sleep around and not pay attention to anyone with whom it's, consummated. That's how we roll. And but curiously, that same kind of disdain that we have for everyone and everything, that's kind of impinging on our, private time. We also treat ourselves that way. This kind of, call it lazy eye consciousness, can treat its own radiant nature in the same way that can discard strangers at the Redners. And we do.
Even worse.
Well, yes, of course. It can also
Like
be
a constant,
quite the bully.
You don't measure up. You're not good enough.
All that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it were just disinterested disdain,
Yeah.
we'd be on a roll.
Yeah.
But we can really, whatever this consciousness is or isn't, can really get lit up and torture the fuck out of us.
Yeah.
And no one's doing it. I mean, it's happening in your bubble, right? Something is torturing the fuck out of you, and you wish it would stop. You don't know how to stop it. So, smoke a doobie, hit the Spider Solitaire, and put on a Lou Reed show in the background.
That sounds like good.
And maybe with enough,
Prescription
like,
for happiness.
right? With enough delight, right?
Yeah.
Sensual delight, you get a break from self-torture.
Some people seem to they may have had the ability to find a path through it that actually brings out some sanity into their miserable lives. And I was listening to the Richard Pryor interview with the guy
Yeah, on the way up.
who wrote a book about Richard
Yeah.
Pryor.
Oh, I'm like Richard Pryor. Where do you get your sanity
And
from?
it sounds like he came out of a horrible family
Yeah.
situation. She and a mother, who knows what
Bigger issue.
happened to his mother, but he's raised by a grandmother who was an atom, carried a gun on her leg, taped her leg, or a straight razor, taped her bra, or something like that.
Yeah.
Times.
Mm-hmm.
Her father was just horrible. It was just bad. And he
Sounds kind of like the way you raised your kids.
I came out under astrology chart with a family guy.
Oh.
Yes, Richard Pryor had a colorful childhood.
But he found a way through. Like he had to be at home, and he was like had to play a whole different role. And then he'd go out and do comedy, his version of comic, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Painful, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Yeah, the
remarkable
topics he hit on.
that, you know, some people can find a path through that, or you take a concentration camp,
Transcendent, yeah.
camp person, or anything else.
Well, let's go back to what's present, right, in your immediate experience. Then, you know, how other people have gotten through this.
It's all rather mediocre in comparison. It's all middling stuff.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It can appear that way.
Not nearly so dramatic.
We habituate to lazy eye consciousness,
Yeah.
and it's not enough for many, not all, but for many so-called people. Lazy eye consciousness is not enough. We need to participate in, conjure up a little thrill, right? Now, and we will do that through all the ways that people do that. You know, some people, you know, shoot grouse. Some people go hunting with the former vice president and get shot at. You know, anything can happen here. Maybe you're a general of an army somewhere in Africa or the Middle East or whatever, and you hunt children to enroll them in your parade. Yeah, I mean, there's missing persons happening all the time. Sorrowful events, airplanes crashing into houses, and flooding in San Francisco, and deep snows in Buffalo, and all kinds of things are happening. I went to the Pebble Hill event last night to see a young man, might I use the word channel, Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Really?
I looked him up actually randomly and was gonna go before my glasses broke and
I'm so sorry you weren't there.
Shame.
Yeah, that looked pretty wild.
I think I
That sounds
probably would have
interesting.
hated
I
it.
left
Yeah.
I left early. I wish you were there because I kind of count on you as a co-conspirator in diagnosis.
He just seemed like a weird, like I watched a
I
video.
thought, I mean, I've read.
I didn't know anything was going on. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Well,
Odd.
I mean, some channeling can really, you know, you can really feel something going on, you know, and your hair bristles and
Yeah.
a little tear comes to your eye and you're like, whoa.
What the hell is happening?
Yeah, it's like, whoa, that's cool. Some channeling not. And
This was a knot, I guess.
no, not for me. I mean, I'm hard to please anyway, or easy to please, you know. But yeah, it was great.
Depending on what it is. That's
Right,
depending.
depending on what it is and how you
Since
feel.
many teachers know.
But I, you know,
It's superhero movies, well,
yeah.
yes.
Well, like you just know that if Our Lady of Guadalupe is laying down some tracks, you're going to pick it up.
Yeah.
How long does it take?
Yeah.
Oh, 20 seconds. You talk to me for 20 seconds as Our Lady of Guadalupe, and I'm going to pick up pretty fast whether you're putting down some tracks or whether you're just shaking it.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some
Anything about
shaking
Our
down
Lady
there.
of Guadalupe, it made me
Shaking her head.
And it was just, and even before he got to the part of the program where he was asked to channel, we had to sit through a very lengthy, terribly boring guided meditation from the director of the New Hope Metaphysical
Oh,
Society,
God.
the lovely Amy Gialqualo. And she's a really cool looking person because if you look at her, you can see like she's not from here. I mean, you can just see that she is just not from here. She's a conglomeration of, you know, interesting energies that make her like, yeah, she's not from here. You can tell. But that doesn't mean that she's necessarily, you know, gifted with respect to the things that we like to talk about. But she can certainly, like anyone can, you know, put you through your paces on a guided meditation and go on and on and on and on. And just when you thought, you know, she would leave you alone, she finds something else to hook your attention into, and you're like, Amy, would you please, I love you. I mean, you're strange and I get that, but just shut the fuck up because I can't do this anymore. And you know, when I go to an event like that, I'm usually under the influence of something. I need it to get through. Well, I convince myself of that. No, I do need it. I need it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it fucked me up. Yeah, it's just, yeah. So, but you can appreciate the vulnerability that you're in, let's say, if you're under the influence of something. And so you're just sensitive to how people will reach out and grab your attention. And you're like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Just leave me the fuck alone because you're a loser and, you know, don't. And so this is part of the hypnosis that happens in these, you know, New Hope metaphysical societies. It's kind of like consent to be superficially hypnotized. And I was like, I can't do this. But I couldn't move, which is very common. And so like, oh, fuck, I'm stuck. I can't do it, but I can't move. Fuck. And I'm agonizing in my own private nightmare, you know, like, oh, Jesus, I'm so fucked. Finally, I get my body to move and I'm like, yes. So I could actually stand up without tumbling over. And
What was it, 10 minutes?
oh, no, much longer. It was like a half an hour, this guided meditation, or at least 20. I mean, it went on for
I'm sure you
longer.
could. I mean, having sat for what, like 6 hours or something one day.
Yeah, I can pretty much, you know, sleep through myself. Yeah, but I just had to like get away from just get away from it. Poured myself some water. Anyway, after that painful process, the young gentleman, the artist, you know, he got up to speak. And it was funny because he starts telling stories about, you know, his encounters with aliens and lights and things. And he's going through a story that took about 10 minutes to recall with exquisite detail. And it dawns on me as I'm sitting there in my condition, I'm like, no one can recall a fucking thing. Nobody can. If it looks like someone is recalling an event that happened to them a number of years ago with exquisite detail over the course of 10 minutes, you know they're lying.
Yeah. They've just crafted their
practicing,
story to
yeah.
do whatever it is they want to do, which is probably sell artwork.
That's right.
So Mary Lou Hunter.
Well, anything. I mean, so our lovely friend Tina was there with Dave.
Mm.
And during the break, usually I'm happy if no one talks to me, but Tina was very kind to talk to me. And I said to her, I brought this to her attention. I said, Tina, what event, any single event, do you recall from your life that you could actually speak about, what's the word, extemporaneously for 10 or more minutes and recall that amount of detail? She didn't take her long to consider it. She said, not a one. She saw that she was not capable of telling a story with that level of recall because there's no way that anyone knows what happened to them a moment before now. And so I said, well, if you nor I nor anyone else in the room could actually do what that guy did, isn't he lying? And she just went, like, yeah. He's got, you know, yeah. I was like,
He's told the story so many times, probably.
Well,
that
see,
he's
that's-
made it a story.
well, that's just it. You know, anything that you've told a number of times, you've actually, right? You've,
Firmed up the laurel.
that's right.
Yeah.
And so the entire evening, Amy's guided meditation was, at least from where I stood, you know, really an unwelcome intrusion. Though if it was, of course, it was done with, you know, kindness on her part. Then this young man, you could see, launched into a directive of personality and storytelling that was just unreal, was not authentic, was untrue, was not present. It was all show. And people respond to that, you know? And I'm like, whoa, this is going south.
Who cares about that shit?
Well, that was the other thing. After he was done speaking about all of these experiences and, you know, great and healings and the smell of roses and things like that, that happened in the presence of, you know, Our Lady of Guadalupe, right? I'm like, yeah, okay, you know, what? And thankfully I didn't stand up because I was, you know, a couple times I was ready to, like, you know, just
Oh, jeez.
draw a lot of negative attention to myself, which I'm really, really good at. And but Tina, you know, was so kind to speak to me during the break that I shared that with her. I said, okay, and let me ask you something, Tina. Now that you've heard this young man tell his story and sat through a lovely guided meditation, are you feeling it? Are you in the new consciousness? Have we hit the Aquarian age now? Right? Is it? Are we there now? She said, no. I said, well, that's my question. Right? What's the deliverable? What's the takeaway from all this?
It's the deliverable.
Then of course he went into the channeling part, and that was even worse.
Yeah.
Because listening to him tell a story was a little bit engaging, but listening to him free associate and use about 8 words within the New Age dictionary over and over and over again,
Oh my goodness.
over and over and over again, within, you know, for a half hour or more of channeling, I'm
Then
like,
my glasses broke.
what? Then, you know, he's talking as if it's, you know, Our Lady of Guadalupe talking about her son, Jesus. So he's like moving between various kind of personality styles and tenses and talking about Jesus and going on and on about really superficial and trivial New Age pablum using a very, very small vocabulary to try to continue to evoke the audience into some kind of believability. And I was started to giggle.
You should have been there.
Oh, that would have been.
Yeah, I was starting to go giggle on it.
Jeff giggle.
And
It would have been bad if I was there.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Would've got hired.
And I was just
Bad
wondering,
practice.
was like,
Like you
is anybody else in this room? And the room was really packed. I mean, it was way more packed.
I've only been to about 4 of those things.
Yeah.
And I've yet to see anything that was like, it's all been like that.
It's all been so hokey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like,
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
it was packed, and more people came last night than typically come to, you know,
Well,
Pebble
the
Hill on a
pictures are
Sunday.
pretty.
He's
artwork is
he's a
So is our
good
mother
artist.
Guadalupe, is that Mary, the mother of Jesus? Is that who that is?
Well, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Sort of manifestation of the Virgin Mary who came to us, some Mexican farmer or something.
yeah,
Oh,
sure.
okay.
There's different
Which one
Madonnas.
came, yeah, which one came
Oh, yeah.
to the 3
Different
little
versions.
kids?
You got a couple in this room.
Yeah.
I'm like, which one came to the 3 little kids?
There you go.
Don't worry about me.
That was the other curious thing. It's like the presence of, you know, the Our Lady of Guadalupe is, when is she missing? I'm sorry, when is she not,
Oh, I see. When is she not present?
when is she not present?
When is she not present?
Is there a moment in your life that you can't smell roses? I don't think so. I don't think so. So for me, it's, you know, it's a certain kind of standard of care, right? It's a standard of
So why did you go?
awakening. Huh?
Why did you go?
Why am I here? I don't know.
You never know, you know?
Come on, Jeff. The company's a lot better tonight.
Oh, yeah, no question about
That's a
that.
little
Because you
credit.
really have no control over what you're doing.
Yeah, because, you know, it's like, whatever, you know, Wednesday night. It's an excuse to go for a ride, smoke a little puffy in the parking lot, and, you know, chill, kick back with Our Lady of Guadalupe. I mean, who wouldn't go?
The other summer was that she.
What?
She was like a psychic, or she was a medium, but she was a fake. I don't know if anybody saw that.
Who's that?
The one who was in the Birdman, the big eyed girl, which was Emma Stone.
Oh yes, that was a great movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen it?
That was great. I mean, as a Woody Allenish,
Yeah.
bizarre staccato love story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. Yeah. Okay, well, I just had to get that out of my system. Thanks for coming, all. Just turn this off. Let's go back to the. Go ahead.
There's the distinct sense of the red carpet of time being rolled out in front of me at the same time as every time I step on the next area of the red carpet, the one behind me just rolls right up.
No.
Like I find myself kind of frantically trying to write things down at work and keep records because
Yes.
I'll look at an email, I'll move on. I'll look at another email, I'll move on. I'll have a conversation, I'll move on. And they are gone. I mean, freaking
Yeah.
gone. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'm trying to do my job and the carpet's rolling up as quick as it could possibly roll up behind me. And I'm helpless
Yeah.
and yet sometimes things just come to me that I would have never remembered before. I'm finding out
Mhm.
absolutely not in control of my ability to do my job. I am.
Sweet.
And I've
That's
never been
sweet.
particularly good at my job.
Yeah.
I seem to fool people pretty well.
Well,
But
then you are good at your job.
it's
Give a workshop.
it's like
that way.
How to fool everyone at the place that you work.
it astonishing. I think maybe I notice more what I don't
Well,
hold
when
in
you
my head.
when
I
you're-
don't know.
Yeah, when you're naturally, let's just say, attentive to the texture of your present consciousness, then you can see very clearly, without any fanfare, how the past is just disappearing, just absolutely,
Yeah.
just disappearing, and how you are functioning at a remarkable level of communicative, evocative interactivity with no effort whatsoever. I mean, let's just right here. I mean, listen to words. What barking noises made with the tongue and the teeth and the hard and the soft palate, coming into effervescent presence from nowhere, spoken without apparently any delay between thought and impulse, visualization and speech, and heard at the speed of sound or the speed of light within your so-called brain. And you think you know, and I think, and I hope you think I know you know what you know about what I'm talking about. Fuck you.
Yeah, and not even just one word, one letter, one syllable launches like a gazillion things in your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
A
Sure.
fucking million.
Yeah, right. And with all of this magical power that you are just simply gifted with, it's clear to see as we just become a little more sensitive to it, that holy fuck, all of this magical power is absolutely at hand, expressing itself with incredible profundity and bravado, braggadocio even, and means nothing.
And it doesn't give a rat's ass if you can go back and find that email that has a key piece of information you're supposed to
No.
pull together for the next report or not.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
So,
no.
Meeting, right?
Jesus.
Then,
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. This is fun. This is completely bizarre.
I'm having a lot of fun with that, with the like trying to figure out what's going on with me or whatever, and everyone's trying to figure it out, and I'm Google searching it, and I'm like, this is just so useless. Nobody knows. I don't know.
I'm always
Eye
trying to
doctor
figure out
says I'm
what's going on
fine.
with you, huh?
Yeah, I've been Googling you too. I came up empty.
She doesn't exist.
What the fuck is going on with Francine? I've used Bing and Google, Yahoo.
Well, Bing sucks. Get rid of Bing.
I know.
And the graphics suck too.
Yeah.
Anybody promote
Bing
those
and their
sites?
graphics suck, and you can't find out a
Makes me
goddamn
angry
thing
that they
about
even
Francine.
exist.
That's it for Bing.
All you had to do was say the word Bing. I'm like, let's Bing.
And it automatically installs as your default browser.
Yeah.
And
Those
it's
guys
hard
are
to
the
figure out how to
worst.
get
And
rid of
you can't
it.
get rid of it.
You can't get it off.
You automatically install as you. Ugh.
Oh, God.
God, if someone would just, give me the mouse click before I click on myself, I would no.
How do we get rid of that, Jeff?
Yeah.
Like, how do we uninstall?
Yeah,
You
that's,
wake up in the morning, the eyes go blink,
I love
you're
this.
here. Like,
There you
what
go.
the fuck?
you see, you want to uninstall.
Yeah.
You really want to
That's
get rid
what
of
we
your
were- that-
personality.
Well, no, not
I
to
do.
make up-
I really want to get rid of my
Right.
personality, but I can't get rid of
That's-
It's even
You know,
worse.
don't reprogram, just uninstall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll keep the body, I
I
guess.
just want to
Just
restore
uninstall
the
stuff.
system to its original setting.
Yeah. Where's the restore disk?
I don't even know about that.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
But, you know. and-
Mom, where's the restore disk? We threw that out. Oh, God.
We threw it out with the placenta.
Yeah,
Just get
really.
out of
Yeah,
here,
that's
kid.
right. Yeah, we planted it under a tree.
But, you know, so, you know, in the awake state, I will think and I will sort of begrudge what I'm thinking. You know, I'm like, damn it, I gotta get out of this rut. You know, I try to
Yeah,
fool them out.
right. You see, the reason that occurs is because we're hoping that we can occupy our present experience in a pleasing way. Right? The greed is that I want to survive and occupy my present experience in an optimal or novel way. And by kind of insisting upon being the survivor to occupy your own experience, you remain in lazy eye consciousness. The disdain follows the curious urgency to be the survivor of your own experience. Whoa. So play with it for a moment or not. Here's whatever this is. Do you really wish to be, want to be, need to be the survivor of this present experience? Do you need to find the email of yourself with the key data? Or can you just let this, can you just leave this alone? You see, now you're not looking for, you're not looking for an idealized experience that you inhabit. Just leave it alone. You see, then it's like, holy shit. This is like too for words. Just leave it alone. That's very different texture than I'm going to get enlightened. I'm going to have an experience. I want novelty. I'm going to study with Peter Brown. I'm going to go on the next retreat. I'm going to get somewhere with me and then occupy, right, the certificate of, well, now you're good too. See, just leave it alone. Here it is. Magical powers like on tap. This is just pure magical powers on tap. But you don't have to occupy it.
You know, it don't take this too literally, but it seems like
We'll try not to. It's gonna be
the
really hard for us because we're very literal.
Okay, give it to me, Jamie.
We're very literal.
it seems as though, you know, any amount of clinging on to all that stuff actually creates the physical in a sense. I mean, it creates time and physicality and all that. And, you know, so like to continue on, I was talking about my wakeful state, but it continues when I'm asleep. I mean, the brain is still like, you know, grabbing ideas and, you know, or
Yes.
things. And it's like
Sure.
there's this physical thing I've created. It
Uh-huh.
seems.
You're like Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So,
He's like, I like that. Wait, I like this.
but as opposed to
Heavy noon.
chill, because I've gone through chill stages. And chill, you wake up in the middle of the night, it's like, oh, that's the middle of the night. Oh, what was that dream? And oh, what's that? But it's such a difference.
Okay, yeah. Yes. You are magical power embodied. And as magical power, your capacity for feeling is unchartable. And the discernment of one, right, feeling, one texture as contrasted with another texture, which appear in what we refer to as memory, is also magical power and your capacity to enjoy vacuity and to laboriously defend against, right, acquiring mind are also part of magic power.
The interesting thing is I certainly don't invest in that seriously. I mean, I still get stock, believe me, but I'm not as invested. I don't believe in it so much in it.
In what?
This is
In
in his imagination,
yeah, right, and all the stuff.
or even in his own disappointment. Yeah, that's true. Well, it's these symptoms, of, let's call it native intelligence, occur as you do what it is that we do. You wake up to the nuanced quality of your being a rubbery, weird, disembodied sensitivity. It's a lot of fun when you don't actually occupy this as a person. Wow. Then the novelty that we thought we were going to extract from out there turns out to be myself. That's a big shift, right? Because if I go on a retreat or a mono diet, or I get a series of 5 high colonics, at a discount.
Did you do that?
What's it called, like a fun thing?
They stick a tube up.
Is that a cornflake that just went by? I swore I chew those like 20 times. God,
I
cornflakes,
knew
man.
someone that did that for a living. I'm like, you
Oh,
stick
God.
tubes up people's butts
Oh, boy.
and siphon poop.
Flush 'em out.
Like, fetishes,
Yeah,
I
you
guess.
don't like
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm not a garbage man. I'm a poop siphoner.
Leave my asshole out of my spiritual pursuits. Thank you very much.
Well, that's what you get for saying the word colonic.
I know. I meant kaleidoscopic. I misspoke. Depends what your definition of is. I did not have sex with that young woman. Kaleidoscopic.
That one time I had that weird dream. I woke up in the middle of the night and I went, phantasmagoric. And then I woke up the next morning and I thought, what was that word? I didn't remember it. But it was funny how it was just like,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, I didn't even know that word.
Phantasagoraphobia. This novelty that interests us happens to be us, this really weird, perfectly silent, perfectly still, perfectly uninvolved and unoccupied vacuity of this presence with no subject and no object in view. At the so-called same time, were there any, that you can parse this out as self and other and, right, the 3-dimensionality of circumstances, events, and sensorium of all kinds. All of that dreaming beatitude accompanies the also already present, pure, unafflicted novelty of you. It's strange. So if I'm in search of enlightenment, it suggests, and that's the good thing, or not, but it suggests that I've taken the ephemera sufficiently seriously that right? I'm actually occupying my experience as a persona. And the moment you're occupying experience as a persona, well, you're fucked, because you're a sorrowful, lamentable, separate, right, dreaming persona, because that's the nature of persona. You can't really have a persona that's not also completely demented. That's not possible, you see? But when we go in search of celebrities or other spiritual, niceties, we're hoping to celebrate the persona. You want to have the best persona on the block. You want to be able to appear well-adjusted or spiritually accomplished to your friends, so that they might buy you a root beer or whatever. But when you don't occupy when you don't occupy present experience, you're like so fucking zero. Nothing can compare to nothing. Here, this is the novelty. This is the sublimity of the mind, the heart of Our Lady of Guadalupe. This is it. With or without the roses, with or without the miraculous healings, just as it is. And to begin to feel yourself as fucking like the source and observing plenitude, both source and observing plenitude of absolutely nothing. You're like, what, me worry? But it's not even about worry anymore. You see, it's not even about the pleasantries or the mispleasantries of experiencing life as a human. A lot of seeking is done around ameliorating, right, the vicissitudes and disappointments of being a human, being a persona. And so we frame good things that happen to us, bad things that happen to us, spiritual things that happen to us, secular things that happen to us, through the lens of, right, what we think is human inhabitation. Hey, but this is not human. You're not human. You're just your plenitude, your magic. You're not actually corporeal. And then it's strange because we just naturally stop referring to events and circumstances or things that could happen or did happen or won't happen or that we want to happen through the lens of trying to optimize satisfaction for the human. Because that's all extroverted novelty craving, right? Micromanaging the universe is extroverted novelty craving. Mm-hmm. When you stop micromanaging the universe, you're also done internally, to call it that, with the pursuit of novelty, because you've discovered that you happen to be the most novel guy in the universe, the most novel, right, woman presence in the universe. It happens to be you. And strangely, singularly you, because you're all that is. Not through the lens of the body, so what we call the body mind, but we're tuning to a different, let's call it harmonic, not the human harmonic, not the I, me, my harmonic, or the resolution of sorrow harmonic. We're just, holy fuck. What is this? And there you are, you are you. You are the singularity of all that exists. Right now you are. You see, what's appearing in your experience is not subjects and objects. It's just not. What's appearing in your experience is a vacuous plenitude of unspeakability. That's what's appearing in your experience. And it's so intimate that you can't even say, oh, I am appearing in myself, even though that's the best you can do, as duality shrinks, shrivels up, and you are you. Because you are appearing in the experience of you. And the experience of you is no other than the experience of you. And everything that appears is actually appearing in you as the experiencing. You're experiencing, you're experiencing. I mean, I may look at, another biobot over across the room and say, oh, Suzanne, and, feel how I feel and think how I think and da-da-da-da-da-da. But everything about her as an object in my view is really where it's occurring. She's occurring in me. Suzanne is occurring in me, in my experience. And what am I conscious of? I'm not conscious of subjects and objects.
Yeah.
I'm actually conscious of experiencing.
Because you're observing yourself in some way too. I think that's where you really start to see how weird you're like, oh, like it's not me as a person observing the other person.
Yeah.
I'm observing.
Yes, all you can
Also.
observe is yourself. That's all you can observe, is what's appearing in your experience. And you can't hold subjects and objects external to you responsible for you.
I've heard it described as like you've got a camera and you've got a lens, and all of a sudden it like peels back, and all of a sudden it includes itself.
Yeah,
It's like-
yeah,
That's the Hederman thing.
Yeah.
okay,
It's just it's a bizarre
yeah,
reference, I think, to that same kind of thing you're pointing to.
What about
Yeah.
concepts and ideas and
mm-hmm,
history and
mm-hmm. Aren't concepts and ideas and history, or at least what we think what we're referring to when we use those words,
yeah,
wafting in your experience?
yeah.
They're just appearing in you. Some memories and words and concepts and history or aspirations can be stimulating. Some can be, frightening or trigger a bracing response. Some you're just completely neutral to as you go about your sleepwalking business.
Aren't they all attempts to gel something, to make something?
Well, it's just weird to feel like, to have awareness of them is to be all those things.
Yes.
Be Julius Caesar, and be Greek gods, and
Yeah, right.
Jesus Christ, and,
Yes,
Bill Cosby or something,
that's
I like
right.
those categories.
Yeah,
It's just kind of,
yeah. Or Bill Cosby's roofie salesman.
he's in there too.
He's there too. Uh-huh. Yes. So we can see that this expressive tendency of, I don't know, call it consciousness or chocolate milk, call it chocolate milk. Dreams up a storm. And incredible associations can appear from moment to moment. And we refer to these associations, these, stimulating observations, which are content appearing in experience. We refer to them as memories and history and da-da-da-da-da and stories of various kind. But what they actually are is what? Subtle impulse. Right? The thought of Bill Cosby is what? It's a subtle impulse appearing in your experience that may have associations with it, right? Of all kinds. And even the associations that are triggered by the associations of the thoughts that are occurring completely spontaneously are also occurring in, right? What we say is your experience. And if you occupy experience, which you can do, because this can anthropomorphize itself. That's why we suffer. Why humans suffer is because this is capable of anthropomorphizing itself. It's a singularity. There's nothing other than it. It's fractal and remarkable and stimulative beyond measure. And because it's so creative and curious, it can whip into view a sense of an individuated identity. and lose that sight of all this is doing is appearing in itself. All you can do is be conscious of the luminous myth of experiencing.
Is it because we're being carefully taught as we evolve in our life, as we grow in our lives, that it's all there to begin with? I mean, or it's all not there to begin with.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you might hear from the various stories of enlightened celebrities how this has always been this. You've always, the notion is you've always known yourself. What else could you have known? You've always known yourself. You just didn't see that you were yourself. You thought you were something or someone else, and therefore afflicted, right, by circumstances and events as if they were actually occurring external to you. Yeah. So that you could say is why we might use the language, the spark of duality, right?
Makes it hard to blame anybody, I guess.
Yeah, sure it does. Right. Yeah. It takes a while, maybe it's fair to say, it takes a while for us to begin to see that as we stumble into this, it really has no utility. It's just not interested in improving your life as a human.
It just doesn't care.
Right? It's so transcendent of the typical way that we relate to experiencing. That you can't get any mileage out of this, which is great. Right, as long as we're holding out for mileage, right? That's the delusion of being, right, corporeally ensconced.
I've had the same feeling about, I've gotten involved with Facebook in a political sense.
Ooh, that's like being on the holodeck several levels down.
I mean, I can get outspoken politically.
Ooh.
So,
We've got a closet Republican in our midst. Duck.
oh
Right.
yeah, right. But
If you're going to talk about politics, I'm going to have another piece of chocolate.
But it seems as though that's all because I had this concept, this idea, this hope, or whatever, of this way that the way America should be and Americans should be. I mean, somewhere in there is this idea, this notion that there is, a better way. And I'm sort of at the point like, so what? I mean, whatever, it is the way it is, why? But I don't know that I'm going to necessarily give up that idea, but whether it's my own personal body or whether it's the body of America or the ideals of it.
Yeah.
It's all just this kind of, in a sense, created crap, it's like just
That's right.
a conjured concept.
That's right.
It's hard to believe in anything anymore. When this gets closer to you, you just can't believe
you're done, man.
anything.
I mean,
Yeah.
There's no
I have that same
platform to
strong
stand
feeling,
on.
but it's just like, I'm like,
When Tina was speaking with me yesterday, she asked me about my, faith of origin. And I was like, I wanted to respond to her question, it was a sincere question, I didn't want to be a wise guy or anything. I said, I was like born in a Jewish family, a Reformed Jewish family, and I was, bar mitzvahed, whatever that means. I said, but to tell you the truth, I feel even peculiar saying it
Yeah.
as if I have any association with being Jewish, let alone being human. They're like, what
That was
religion?
hard to
I'm like,
explain.
whoa. And so
Yeah.
I didn't go quite that far at that point. I did a little later, but then she started, we had each other's attention. And so she started telling stories about her background from Greek Orthodox and, doing mass, right, in Greek or Latin or da-da-da-da-da, and people changing and stories. And I'm listening and I'm nodding and I'm saying yes. And at one point I said something that was kind of peculiar. It came to mind. I was like, I don't take anything hostage, Tina. I don't collect anything. And she was like, what? What do you mean by that? I said, look, this is just happening, right? It's all just happening, isn't it? And I just don't collect anything. I'm like, so I don't know what you're talking about. And she wasn't offended by it. She got that. I mean, she was like, yeah, right. I said, so that's how I like to hang out. If you'll forgive me. It's like, I'm not collecting anything right now. I don't know what's going on. I don't know from Jewish or Greek Orthodox or any story that we tell or what this young man is about or nothing.
That's just a good generic response. And I just want people to shut up or something. Just look at them
You
all
can
sincerely.
steal it, yeah.
It's so funny, though.
Anything right now.
I don't collect anything. Yeah.
So it's
No
just,
Just to
Velcro.
confuse them and make them want to.
but it's all
Not talk to
confusion.
me.
I mean, it's just a layer of confusion to most people. When you talk about vacuity, for crying out loud, they're like,
What?
huh?
Yeah.
We talk
Yeah.
about what?
Vacuity. Vacuousness.
Yeah.
I mean, all those kinds of terms. Ruination.
Sure.
These are all
Yeah.
coming.
Well, she's been here a couple times and she talks to Dave about this stuff a lot. So,
But
You know.
I don't know
most
if he
people don't have a clue.
Translates.
Another persona that he plays.
It's just hard to communicate.
well, it's impossible. That's the fun of it.
I mean, there's some hope that there's some people that
No,
I
that's
know
hope.
outside of this group.
Well, look at all the groups that you've had to
Intervention.
abandon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Gwinnett Friends,
Yeah.
86.
A lot of
All my
other
friends.
too.
I
TM.
almost abandoned my entire family.
86.
But for some reason, they're still.
Yeah, I didn't even get started on. I was going and then I just like that.
This is 86 on everybody else.
I used to drum
Highly
on
sensitive.
Thursdays. It was very important. Very important.
Drumming, yeah, that's
For years.
TV shows. I said, no, I just put the headphones on and just randomly sitting there watching.
Yeah, this is a tractor beam, you see.
No shit.
The vacuity, the luminous vacuity of your own immediate experience, which happens to be God, is a bit of a tractor beam. Once it's got you by the short and curlies, you're not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
You're just not. You're done. And no one can take credit for that. You have to take credit for it. It appeared in your experience. The revelation of how profound you are has appeared in your experience. You have to sniff it out. That's all. Who can you hold responsible for that? You're the only thing here. That's
We're the
it.
only game in town.
You're the only game in town.
Yep.
And so you ultimately, if you want to put it that way, are responsible for recognizing that you're Brahmin. Fuck you. Deal with it.
Make it so. Make it so.
Make it. That was funny.
Did you see?
Oh
that?
God, that was great. Make it so. Make it so. Make it so.
It's they do this Star Trek thing where they do Picard.
Oh.
Instead of let it snow, let it snow, let
Oh,
it
I
snow.
see.
It's like make it so, but they They make the whole thing up. You
They
know?
have Spock with a little cap, like a little cap on.
Yeah, they
You can see it.
Not, no,
His
it was,
ears peeking out.
no, it's Next Generation, right? It was
Yeah.
all snippets from
Generation.
Star Trek Next Generation. So it was Picard and his team.
The only thing that wasn't rhythmic in there was Wesley says, he says something and he says, "Shut up, Wesley."
That's right.
That's the only thing.
That was pretty funny.
Oh, that was hilarious.
What was this part of Saturday Night Live or something?
No, it's just a Facebook thing.
Okay.
I think it's the best Christmas Carol I've heard in ages.
Sounds
Send
great.
it to me.
Anything I can
Well, you
replace
don't do
while
Facebook. You're on
you know,
Facebook. I'll
have
send
to
it.
listen to the other stuff.
you.
It's good.
And you just post it on my timeline.
All right.
So we use the word wake up. It's okay. You know, it could be easily misunderstood, right? Or held out to
He's
be,
waking up.
or held out to be special, and right, all of these other right things.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a struggle.
you could say the curious veil or distillation of imagining that there are subjects and objects, circumstances and events, which is not untrue. There's no point, right, in asserting or refuting anything. It's like you feel, you begin to see and recognize the texture of your own being. The incredible intimacy and aliveness and quietude and like delicate textures of your present experience. And that's the novelty. You are the novelty. And the recognition of this novelty becomes your home. You see, you take up residence in yourself as yourself, just completely organically. And yeah, what? There's no soapbox. You hang like you've always hung out. Now you're not befuddled by, right, imagination and projection. You're just, I don't believe how strange I am. I just can't get over it. And it doesn't quit. And because it's incredibly effusive, both demonstrably effusive as subjects and objects, it is similarly effusive as you go in. It's still as effusive, but now the texture, the delicacy of your own consciousness there's no language that humans have yet to conjure that can, right, iterate or express the profundity of your own texture. It's incredibly effusive, but we can't speak about it anymore because it's...
Even if we could, nobody would understand it.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, by doing what we do, you could say we are
Yeah,
speaking
yeah.
about it, calling attention to it, and having a direct encounter with it.
And the word formations that you put together when you put a post out on Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, they're incredible, and so few really. It seems to me. I mean, for people that I know,
Right.
when I've sent it out, I mean, they're missing somehow.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely. This is a secret club that no one has to keep a secret about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one about the sun cracked me up because a friend of mine's son was like 4 or 5. They asked him, "What are you thankful for Thanksgiving?" He said, "Myself and the sun."
That's pretty good. I like that. Myself and the sun.
I'm
Nice.
gonna use that next time. I have to. Anyone ever ask me?
Yeah. The pushy lamp in the sky.
Yeah.
What?
Go back to sleep.
Whoa, that's just too much. Dude. Easy does it. It's really.
Selfies. Kids are fun.
They are fun, okay.
I don't have them.
We're all, you know, playful in our way, right? Creative and impish, right? In our way. And playing around with, you know, language or evocative textures and things that you can, you know, whip into shape by feeling things, having a mood, and then seeing how that mood, you know, might touch letters on a keyboard. It's kind of fun to see whether anything that was, oh God, present in the mood, right, could find its way on in a Facebook post and see if it could, you know, yeah, if anyone
And
could hear
I
it.
don't know how you find the pictures to work, you know, but it really does something.
They do help. Yeah.
do.
Sure. Right. Yeah. Well, come on, we're visual piglets, right?
Yeah.
We're really aggressive with our, right? We grasp with our senses, right? That's another interesting thing is you know, being of a dualistic and opportunistic manner, a samsaric manner, you can feel how the senses have a grasping kind of quality. We pretty much ignore everything in sight, but we also grasp with our eyes in various ways that we construct the universe that we think that we're living in. And as that begins to shift, then you can notice how your senses they stop grasping. Your eyes stop grasping, your ears stop grasping, you know, all the olfactory system and the right qualities of touch stop grasping, and all of this right acquisitiveness that are in your digits in your wrist, they can just go completely limp. That's you. When I taught yoga some years ago, I would play around with just dropping all grasping from the wrist, right? Just leave the digits alone. And some people were like, whoa, you know, got it, right? They were like, whoa, that could really take them on a journey. And other people you could see would get like pissed off, right? Yeah.
Because they wanted to exert some effort.
Well, no, because I think they got pissed off because as you entrain them or invite them into a certain kind of depth of relaxation that they're not really prepared for, or if there's a lot of, let's call it psychic tension in them, and you start inviting them into, it's like,
It's a little disorienting.
yeah, it's disorient and frightening. Yeah. I had a big blowout, not that I did, but I was teaching yoga for one summer at the Omega Institute. They invited, you know, me to teach a little yoga. And, you know, I was trained by, a little bit Kripalu style, not so much Amrit Desai, who was just a big, you know, narcissist, but something about the myofascial or cranial rhythms and Jean Klein's right energy body style of yoga. So yeah, that's how I like to play and teach yoga. But it would people would get pissed off. I mean, angry. I mean, it would just blow them out. It was a real psychic, you know, blow. Some guy a long time ago just went completely berserk after he went to like one yoga class that I gave, and he just started like bad mouthing me like all over the community and to his friends, and I mean, he just went completely over the top considering it was just a fucking yoga class, you know. And it happens. People get triggered that way. When you just have a knack for, let's say, inviting someone into a different kind of shamanic texture, right? Some people, as we mature, we're open to it. We can go with it. But if it comes at us when we're not prepared, it can be very threatening and very disoriented, and so we'll act out
Shocked.
to defend against it.
Piss somebody off is
Yeah.
shocking.
I
Yeah.
have the feeling that I forget her name, that SIG person, that she does yoga. She has her picture. I guess she's a teacher, but very strenuous kind of joke.
You mean Erica Blesnak?
Yeah.
She's enlightened.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't know?
I know that she knows that. Yeah, that's her.
I'd rather hang out with somebody that disturbs me a little bit.
I've always had that same kind of attraction, yeah.
Like we can always find, those folks that'll agree with all our complaints and oh yeah, you can always find that kind of just mainstream bullshit. But to have somebody that just pushes your buttons,
Yeah.
it's good.
What are friends for?
I know, I just got that song in my head too. It sucks.
Which one? Clarence Clemens? Or,
I'll be by your side forevermore.
oh, that one.
Who sings that? I don't fucking
There's
know.
a duo.
It's horrible.
That was a really bad,
I know.
yeah. I don't know, Clarence, what do you think?
Oh, that's Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney.
And Paul McCartney.
Oh, that was like a really bad song. Oh.
I think it was such a bad rendition. I didn't even recognize it. I don't know.
Oh.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, yeah.
But it was a good shot.
Not
Would you sing at my bar mitzvah?
No. I will spare everybody.
So, what do you think the wedding is going to be? Do you have any, is it just a totally open forum? Are people going to be speaking or anything like that?
Well, I like to hang out a little, what's the word, extemporaneously. See what just happens. And we do that with each other, so we could get together at a party and,
Nice guy wedding or something?
yeah, like night sky wedding, yeah, like, whoa, I love you, man. I mean, Beth.
Let's talk about the personal love versus like what happens in that sense, like if the residents how like in the movie Her, where the intelligence became enlightened and
Yes.
they were like, well,
Right.
I'm in love with 300,000 people now.
At the same
Yeah.
time, I'm
Yeah,
communicating with,
yeah.
I'm communicating intimately with, having phone sex with,
Yeah.
speaking casually with about 500 people right now, and conscious of each and every one of those, right? Like, whoa.
So in terms of, all this, it's weird, the idea, like, how you would still resonate or have a person, like connections with some people, but not like everybody. Or how does that work exactly?
Yeah, you'll have to find out.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm not making sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it does. It
Makes
Good
perfect
question.
sense. Yeah.
Good question.
Well, you are absolutely unadorned, but your sheath hasn't died yet. So you be you.
So
You
you still
like-
like to hang out with some peeps and not others.
Well, sure.
Same way you like some vegetables and
Yeah.
Although, you're.
Now that I'm
Don't call
enlightened,
people vegetables.
now that I'm enlightened, I just can't get enough asparagus.
chocolate or dark chocolate.
Since we talked about ET,
Yeah.
I think I heard him say one time, he's like, somebody was apologizing about the interview. He's like, look, you can say whatever you want because it's all like, it's all great, so to speak, like,
E.T. said that?
well, I were told.
Oh.
Oh, I'm thinking the little guy with the eyeballs that
No,
wants to go.
Well, they have the same
It's so
initials.
neat. I know that it has the same.
Completely confused me for a
Totally,
minute.
It's ET.
It's the same.
I knew what she was talking about.
Doppelganger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
It's
was
like I kind of got the sense like it's all good no matter what. It's all good, You put a
Yeah.
step on my toe, and I'm still like orgasmic with the world 24 hours a day.
You see, this is what's interesting.
Go shoot him
We-
somewhere. That
We have a
would be
tendency to want to what would you say? Scoop up awake, and lather it on the human waffle.
There you go.
With root beer and chocolate milk.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. You see, and so this is a way of saying, oh, see, awake is just, I mean, it's just so.
Yeah.
This is just so. But we want to see how it's going to play out
Yeah.
through the filter of my humanness,
Yeah.
right? And that's fun. I mean, absolutely. You know, Ramana Maharshi had a beautiful gaze, and Satya Sai Baba, sucked boy dick.
You have preferences though?
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
you
Muktananda, Muktananda's handlers picked out underage women, and he would have bizarre tantric intercourse with them. And of course everything is denied. It's all denied. It's all denied.
I'm getting like reincarnated. That's not with that hat for you to.
Vivekananda.
Yeah, I don't know how to say his name, but he's got that like turban. So
Yeah, yeah.
his hat.
Right.
What was,
that's
what was
not
his
that
poison?
Osho.
Was it little
Is it-
boys,
I don't know
young
if he
women?
had
No.
poison.
No.
Oh.
I don't know.
Osho was not
I've just seen his
Rajneesh.
picture.
Rajneesh.
Oh,
Rajneesh.
Osho, yeah.
Osho.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just, at times when, like you were just starting to morph into some sort of like, I don't know, Swami with that hat on today.
We do. We morph. We do. I mean, your own
I was thinking more like
experiences,
hobo.
right?
I mean, but
Yeah,
whatever.
Maybe a Russian.
Russian, that works.
Yeah, you morph.
If I were actually to just think about how this conversation went from your
Yeah, it's great.
question to it, I would have another laughing fit.
Don't hold back, girlie.
That was great. It morphed, it surely morphed.
It does, yeah.
She works
A lot of
according to the
going on
person.
down here.
The morphogenic group.
Yeah.
You can become, let's just say, fascinated with what appears in phenomenality, because the interest and the curiosity of, right, the fractalized entirety of all experience is like uncanny. I mean, you can look at, images from the Hubble telescope or from Chile or France or observatories in Hawaii or wherever, and I mean, you can see shit that you're just not supposed to see. Right? I mean, the power of magnification to glimpse 5 billion year old light and see it appear as a, enormous galaxy pushing out gas. A gas jet at 2 million miles an hour. Gas is streaming at 2 million miles an hour at a length of 10,000 light years.
That'd be cool to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the images are there.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
And they're having more and more, there's more images, and all of a sudden, we're in this explosion right now.
Yeah,
We're at the
absolutely.
explosion part of the curve.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everything that we're observing, I would argue, macrocosmically and microcosmically, is revealing what we're boldly speaking about in our, non-scientific terminology, which is the curious myth of all dreaming, the singularity of consciousness as an activized, zip, activized to zero. Everything is revealing it. And what's being seen through the disciplines of science and mathematics, et cetera, right? And meticulous observation is shining back, right? Revelations that Bruno had 500 years ago, right? when he witnessed, we don't know how, the clear observation of,
Watching the cosmos.
yeah, of, right, universes upon universes and galaxies upon galaxies with no end, lighting up the entire call it atmosphere, right, of the observable universe and beyond. He had the vision and said, oh my God, this is so, right? And the church eventually, the church nor anyone else could take it, right? So they asked him to recant. They didn't want to kill him because, he was a likable fellow, but he simply would not recant. And so he was jailed and then, burned. He was immolated for all he was able to do was see through the eyes of the Hubble a couple hundred years early.
The guy with integrity, huh?
I was going to say, what integrity?
Yeah.
I'd be like, what
Yeah.
universes? I didn't say anything about universes.
Yeah, if you had any
Let me out of
sense,
this
you'd say,
chair.
I must have had something to eat that didn't
Yeah.
agree with me, and we'll go, 86 on the vision, and let me just go about my merry way. It's you don't know why someone feels like they have to defend
Passion, but
so impassioned. Yeah, you're like, okay, shh, Bruno, shh, let's go get a burger.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Let's just go get a burger. Leave these fuckers alone.
Ixnay on the universe, yay.
Yeah.
Neapolitan.
Ramana, sat in a cave. The insects ate his body. He dwelled in the self. They cleaned him up. He started coming out, emanating his, natural radiance. And he just hung out, And so an ashram basically built itself around him.
Cool.
He didn't build an ashram. He was just like, holy fuck, this is the shit. And, they built an ashram around him.
Let's go live near this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was, he was remarkably
Yeah.
radiant enough and an oddity at such a young age, right? To have gone full hog into the self, that in Indian culture, he was, they understood that he was worth revering him, hanging out with him, right? Building, right? They got that. They know that. I don't think they would do that here in the West, right? If you started hanging out at Lake Galena like this,
They wouldn't go nuts.
They just
I don't
ask
think-
you if you're okay. I've
Yeah.
tried it. Are
Yeah.
you okay, ma'am? Are
Yeah.
you sure you're okay?
right? Are you okay? What do you mean I'm fucking Ramana Maharshi? Build a goddamn ashram, you asshole.
Where's my ashram?
Really?
got
Don't you
preference
recognize
I'm
me?
usually laying on the ground and it's sort of like makes them even more. Are you okay,
Speaking
man?
in the plural,
Are you
like it
okay?
happened more than once.
They did.
We're glad you're
Sounds
not in
good.
Norristown State. That's all we can say.
Yeah.
Much rather have you here.
Well, we'd go hang out with you at
Yeah,
Lake
yeah,
Galena and
yeah.
feed you and stuff.
Yeah, that's not like the old days.
One time they were pissed because I did that in the concrete and I was laying on a truck.
You were laying-
sounds horrible, but they were gonna call like 911, and they ran in and
You were laying on the concrete. So he
I
said,
was just relaxing.
Fortunately, they were in
you just
Staten
wanted to
Staten
relax
Island.
right there, so they had to step
Were you in
up.
the middle of the path, the walking path? Or the-
If you're going to go into samadhi in a public
I'll
place,
do it in a park.
just wear a little
parking
sign
lot.
around your neck that says, don't worry, it's a
I-
hazing ritual.
I know. I thought about putting signs up
Yeah,
or something.
really, like,
anything.
Don't call the police, I'm okay.
Yep.
It could be like the new performance art of Doylestown.
Really.
He
If you
does
just-
it at like the bar, and people are like,
Oh,
"Is he
yeah,
okay?"
yeah.
I'm like, "I don't fucking know."
Don't mind him. Don't mind him. He just
Probably
loves
not.
himself.
Yeah,
Does he do it? Wait, what does he do?
If you put a
shit
little,
like that. I don't know.
if you put a little hat next to you with a little sign, "Tips, please," people would run the other way.
Yeah, then you'd be
Like,
good, right?
they would
Yeah.
leave you
Put a little
alone.
bottle, yeah, a little
Because they'll
basket.
think you
That's a
want
good
attention, and
point.
they will totally leave you
Just need to
alone.
go sit in the Whitney,
Yeah, like pretend like it's a show.
Because that way you'd fit in with all the other bozos that want attention.
Yeah, not usually.
Not a lot of those in Doylestown. Yeah, you have to move.
David Lynch has an exhibit at the Academy of Fine Arts, very dark stuff. But that's what he does.
Yeah.
the sculpture garden, Francine.
Yeah.
The sculpture garden. And they have the statues and the things and the stuff. And when we were there, you know, the kids tried it, and then I saw some grown-ups too. They were just on the bed, and they were pretending to be sculptures to see if people would come
Right.
up
Yeah.
and look at them or
Yeah.
take their picture or something. So I take Jeff and Francine to the sculpture garden.
You know they've
They
made that
create
all,
a thing or whatever.
they've
And
made
we
that
just
all
watch
family
and
friendly.
see, you know, and people come up to,
They've made that all family friendly.
Family friendly?
They would have, it was like
Yeah, I
the
know.
picture, you know, the painting
We're just,
of,
where did this
there was
start?
like a nude woman or a couple nude women with the other guys who were fully dressed.
They took the nudes out?
I think that they,
What are they, Donald Rumsfeld?
yeah, and then,
Started
and then
with
there's
him
the one
talking
of
about
that nude shower.
Indian masters and
oh, no, I
Somali.
have a picture of
Now we're talking
Cindy
about
and
the
Gina
sculpture
washing the
garden.
naked girl in the shack.
Yeah, I got pictures of that,
Family
but I
friendly.
don't think that they have that anymore. That's,
No, it's there.
That's what Donald Rumsfeld did in the White House. He tried to put a sheet over the naked
The naked
statue.
girl in the shower, so
You just couldn't handle it.
I think it's not.
He's like, God, I can direction every time I walk by that thing.
just what it's,
He should be happy.
what's the format, you know, how's it gonna be?
So
do
embarrassing.
you know, I'm back to the wedding question, do you know?
Oh my goodness.
I think in terms of the Quaker wedding, which is, you know, people just sort of.
No, what? No, what?
I'm gonna marry
The
them.
format or the
Yeah.
setup?
Do some interpretive modern dance.
Yeah. I'm gonna marry them while doing
I
interpretive
think you
modern
should do
dance.
some interpretive modern dance. That's.
I like that idea.
Oh, Lord.
Did you want to go back to what you were talking about?
What was that?
What are we talking about?
Indian masters in Samadhi or something?
Oh,
I don't know.
And not doing
That's a fun
public
topic.
places.
Yeah.
Not doing Somali in public places, because they
Right.
were not building an ashram.
just a hazing ritual. Don't mind me.
Yes.
I'm an idiot. Keep moving.
It's just really, really fun to be you and not collect anything. We do appreciate that the movement of thought and association is, can be distracting. That we think that we have to utilize thought and association to entertain ourselves or get through a day. We begin to discover that's absolutely not necessary. And that also is a little intimidating, a little startling, a little strange, if not a lot strange. You find out that you are not what you thought you were. This isn't where you think it is, nor how it came about. And you have to kind of permit your native intelligence to guide you through a reorientation.
I think it does require some action. For myself, I can get caught up in the bullshit that's going on
Well, you're not alone in that.
and be resistant and, not happy
Yes,
and just let myself get caught up.
yes,
But then sometimes it occurs to me, hey, I don't have to do this. I could walk away, and I do that sometimes. I put on headphones, I do that sometimes.
yes,
A number of ways
right,
to deal with it. And it's,
yeah.
God, I click the mute, at least I can do that.
You use hopefully you've been using the
Oh, yeah, I
codependent
need
volume
to do
control that I sold you the other
Oh,
day.
that's good. I do like that.
Wait, what's
It works, it's incredible. Amazing how well it works.
That's
I should sell 'em.
Volume control.
Well, here, let's say you're in a codependent kind of frenzy. You just take it out of your imaginary pocket and you just turn down the volume on yourself.
Turn down the what?
You just turn down the volume on yourself, like, ah.
There it is.
There we are. Oh, that's so good. It's just like that, yeah. And curiously, that you have a codependent volume control, you remember that you actually have one.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is a frenzy like nobody's business. Oh, I know. Turn it the fuck down. Oh, there we are.
I was listening to a Peter podcast today, and he was talking about, and we've talked about it before, this whole idea that you're gonna be neurotic free, you know. And
Uh-huh.
it still seems like some of your neuroses are gonna go away.
They can. Sure.
I mean, you might have, if somebody got in your space, and if you're, you know,
Like,
if you have a little
resort to
PTSD,
old
you might
fashioned-
get like,
Yeah.
get the hell out of my way or something, but
Right.
it's gonna come and go pretty quickly, I imagine.
Well, again, there's no point. There is a
Yeah.
point, but I
Yeah.
get the point,
Yeah,
and I'll reply by saying that trying to frame what's going to happen to your, human quirkiness,
Yeah.
in the context of this being a miraculous vacuity, it's just kind of it's a curiosity. I get the curiosity, but it's this vacuity is so completely flatlines the imagination of human that you just naturally lose interest in how you are either behaving or hoping to behave. You don't give a fuck because you're not even collecting yourself.
I guess I was thinking of the codependence turning down, you know.
Yeah. Well, when you're in a frenzy, you just whip it out and you just
Yeah.
turn it down.
Yeah.
When if you remember to.
I don't ever remember.
The volume control always works. I mean, it's guaranteed. When you buy one from me, it's guaranteed
Which
for
is
life.
a sophistication of awareness.
And it
which
always
you
works.
know, No?
But you simply have to remember that you have one.
Yeah, which is a fine tuning of awareness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Well, I've done the same thing using the Jesus hand or whatever,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
in various ways.
sure.
So you can imagine, like wonderful sounds coming from. I mean, I'm driving along and I just go like this. And
Are you
people
sure
are.
that's not like Mussolini or
Yeah,
Ramakrishna did it,
people, yeah. People may wonder what I'm doing as I drive by, but who pays attention?
No,
But
you're
it makes a difference.
just doing the Jesus
It's
hand.
Weird. This thing.
They only have 2 or 3 photographs of Ramakrishna, and one of them he was dressed up in kind of like nice Indian Nehru outfit, and he was leaning on a column because if he didn't have the column, he just would have gone straight over, and it's like, you're like, oh, all right, quick, take the photograph. I'm about to pass out.
Well, when I was a little kid, now it just occurred to me right now, when I was a little kid, at some point in time, I remember seeing these pictures of Jesus, and he'd always be like this. I remember so I said,
Yeah.
You got the Jesus hand down, man.
Yeah, you got it down.
You have it about as
But-
good as Jesus.
Nice. Yeah,
But
no,
I
it's
remember,
not
like,
easy.
Good.
Why is it always like that? And I kind of practiced it just to see what the deal was.
There you go.
You were doing this.
You were
that was-
doing the
that was your
codependent
version
volume
of-
control.
I don't know what it was.
Now, I'll have to make an announcement.
Okay.
Jamie channels, I'm gonna have to send out a.
Jamie channels
Jamie
Jesus,
channels
or at least he
Jesus.
channels the Jesus hand.
Jesus.
Go with it where you will.
So I'm gonna say-
People get paid to come and see
Yeah, I know.
that.
Well.
I want to cut yeah.
Yeah, you got to perfect this thing.
I'll do a
Big thing
boring
in
as
Latin
shit.
America,
What
you get
channel of
crowds.
Jesus, Jamie, could you be still? I know that I'm God.
You're gonna do the guided
No, it's be
meditation.
still and know that I'm Jamie.
Be still and know that I am Jamie.
Oh, and even his name is J and J. It works. It
Oh,
works.
Oh,
yes.
that's right.
Yeah.
How many letters, Jesus? Jamie? Are the same letters? Same letters?
That would be a
Make
good
a baby.
T-shirt everyone could have. Be still and know that I am Sharon.
That's pretty good.
It
Yeah.
is. It's the same amount of letters. It's okay.
So the headphones are, when you put them, are they attached to anything? Or you
Usually I'm listening to Radiohead or something like that.
Just rocking-
Lou Reed, man. Sweet Jane.
Fergie's.
Sweet
Sometimes
Jane.
yeah, sometimes it's, one of these things or something.
Or that song you were singing. That's what runs off.
I think our program has come to an end.
I just walk around in my head without headphones going, super geek, super anything I can add to